to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to The Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, it's right. This is the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in internet talk radio. We are brought to you by SIR at SIR-USA.com, where they provide all the great gear to the bands that are touring as well as businesses that need backline, whether it's video or audio. And of course, our good friends over at Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. They are the coolest company online to sell gear. And if you happen to be in San Diego, they have a store in National City. And speaking of gear, we have a really cool company on today, and a gentleman that runs that company, Mr. Steve Skillings of Jamhub. Are you there, Steve?
Hi, Florentine. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on this lovely, well, it's not quite afternoon yet, but I'm imagining it's afternoon where you're at in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
And you're where are you at located today?
We're in New England, so the company's about an hour west of Boston and a little north of Providence, so central Massachusetts.
Awesome. Yeah. I've been to Boston a few times. Great place. And I imagine it's probably a little chilly there for you right now.
Yeah, winter is coming, sadly.
Yeah.
It's blowing pretty cold air out there, and the leaves are flying around.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all kind of hunkering inside for the day.
But all of the elves are working diligently to get all this cool gear ready for Christmas, I'm assuming. So that's very, very cool.
Yeah, exactly right. It's actually a great day for me because my wife and daughter are gone, and my son's off at college. So I've been doing recording and playing with gear and building some stuff, and so I'm having a real good man day here. Now I'm doing, talking about music gear, which is a hoot.
You're in the man cave. That is awesome. Well, hey, you know what? I'd like to start off a little bit about how you got where you're at. You are the CEO of Jamhub, and you are also the CPO of BandLab. So we're going to talk mostly about Jamhub today, because we've got your colleague coming on, Ming, who's going to be coming on in a couple of weeks to talk about BandLab. But we'll touch a little bit on that today. But I want to find out a little bit more about Steve. You are a serial entrepreneur. You've been a technologist, but you're also a musician who sings, and and of course you love to tinker and make gear. I read your LinkedIn, as you could tell.
Wow, I have nothing else to say. Let's move on.
Let's done. The show's done, guys. No, but let's kind of start off with both passions. It's like a dual passion here. Which one came in first, the technology or the music?
I would have to say it was the technology. I grew up in a house where my dad was building remote control airplanes, and so I was in the basement with him a lot and just learning to build stuff. I was that kid who could take anything apart and actually get it to go back together and work again. So I always like to tinker and to build stuff and to just, I have a creative impulse that is not only in the music, but it's also in building things. So I've always been pretty good at that and really enjoy it very much. And then I actually picked up, I got interested in music in middle school, but my middle school teacher turned me on to the band at the school, and I was a pretty good-sized kid back then. So they took one look at me and said, "You look like a tuba player." And so after going, blowing into a tuba for about 3 months, I said, I'm done with this. I guess I'm not a musician. And a few years later, at 16, a buddy of mine said, "Hey, you seem to really be into guitar. Why don't I teach you how?" And I said, "Oh, I've already figured out I'm not a musician." He said, "No, I'll teach you." I said, all right. So I picked up the guitar, and he taught me a few chords, and I just haven't stopped since that day.
Wow.
So that's,
It's too bad you gave up the tuba, man. We really needed a tuba player in our group here. So.
Oh, yeah. Everybody needs a tuba player. It's a lot. It's a dying art, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Hey, man, I'm a bass player, so tuba is the bass equivalent for the horns.
Exactly, and a heck of a lot easier to get around.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks to Leo Fender, right? We got to give props to Leo Fender for taking that upright bass and kind of making it look antique.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was different than you when I was a kid. I was kind of the shorter kid, and the first thing that when I went to elementary school band, they said, "What do you want to play?" I said, "I want to play a bass," and I couldn't even, I probably wasn't even tall enough to meet the body. I wanted to play the bass. Go figure. And it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But so I can see the passions kind of started early on for you.
Yeah.
Were you thinking at that particular point that you wanted to go the directions of this, or were you just thinking these were hobbies for you?
For me, it was just something I loved to do. I really was a musician who loved being in a band, which will kind of come back as we get talking about Jamhub and why, for me, it was sort of an obvious thing. But I'm not a guy who wants to be technically proficient. I like the collaboration. I like getting together with people and being in a band. But as I did the music and enjoyed that, I came to realize I am not going to be Eddie Van Halen or Stevie Ray Vaughan. I just don't have that in me. But so my dad and my mom talked to me, and I was pretty good at math and science, so I ended up going to an engineering school for mechanical engineering. And that place was just littered with musicians as well. There's a lot of science out there that says math and music are really very similar parts of the brain. And so for me, it's always been both, I guess. I really enjoy building products and sketching things out and learning how stuff goes together and how things work, but also, being able to bang on a guitar and play some blues songs and slaughter some Eddie Van Halen licks,
Well, speaking of that,
I've really been bimodal, I guess. I love them both.
Speaking of that, before we get into all the cool stuff that you've built, what is the gear that you're rocking right now? What are you playing on?
Oh my gosh, oh, that's hard. So I have a pretty decent guitar collection now. So I have my main Strat is a custom shop that I found in Singapore. That when you talk to Meng about BandLab, I found the guitar thanks to him, and I absolutely love that guitar. I've got some EVH gear that I love, but I'm really a 15-watt and down guy for the amplifiers. I mean, I don't need all that oomph. I was a part of Bose for a while and I was part of the team that brought the L1 product to the world.
Okay.
And really at that point, I converted over to I'm going to let the PA do the heavy lifting. I get my tone at low volume, and then I let the PA or the Jamhub do all the heavy lifting and mixing. And that for me, and pedals. I love building pedals, so I've got a lot of different pedals. And in fact, today my house smells like solder and paint because I'm building a pedal.
Wow. We might have to. My producer Paul Berezetsky is basically a huge pedal fanatic. In fact, he likes to quagmire as well with gear and stuff like that. So he looks like he has a question here for you. I'm gonna throw him up there.
Hey.
Okay, great.
I was actually on the sort of starting to come around to the same idea of just get a 15-watt amp or less and let the PA do the.
Right.
And I've been kind of on the lookout for a good one, and kind of the Fender Blues Junior sort of, but I don't know. They're sometimes some days I like them, some days I don't. Do you have one that you like that you could recommend?
Yeah, I do. I have 3 right now that I use. Unfortunately, I'm going to make you choose your own tone because I don't know enough about how you play.
Right.
But I like the Blues Junior. I know a lot of guys who love them. For me, there's something about the sound in that amp that I just can't quite. I don't fall in love with it. I moved over to a Princeton.
Uh-huh.
And the Princeton, I think it's probably the power tubes, you know. But the Princeton, to me, has a tone that I like more. It gobbles up pedals in a delicious sort of way. For most of my gigs, I play in a band that is doing cover tunes. I like to say we do songs you know all the lyrics to. So I just run a tube screamer into that, and then that gives me everything I need, and then I'll hit it with pedals if I need other, you know, more distortion or less distortion. The other one I love is an AC-15, and this is the amp that started me on my 15-watt quest. It is just such a fantastic, touch-sensitive kind of amp, and it really can do a whole lot of stuff. But for me, it's just heavy. So I kept searching, and I'm a gear guy. So I just kept searching. And recently I bought the Marshall 15-watt head, which has a really good sound. And again, it has those American power tubes. So it can do some really good stuff in the clean space, but also when you really want to, you know, light it up and be Van Halen-ish, or, you know, anything with more gain. It's a great little amp.
Cool.
And I'm also eyeing the EVH 15-watt. So I'm not completely obsessed with 15 watts, even though it sounds like I am.
Well, you know, it's all about the tone, right? You know, and we're going to be talking a bit more about that. This has been the Changing Stage radio show, first segment. We're going to take a commercial break, a pause for the cause. And my name's Florentino, and we are here with Steve Skillings and Jamhub Takeover. We'll be right back in a few short minutes. We just want to give a shout out and a thank you to SIR at SIR-USA.com. When we go out on tour, that's what we use, and everybody who we bring in uses them as well. Be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
In the military, things can change in an instant. At Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
We are back for the second segment of the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet Talk Radio. And we are brought to you by Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. They've got a great selection of gear, whether it be Dean guitars to Mesa Boogie amps to stuff like Jamhub. You know, that is they have a great selection of gear. And speaking of that company, Jamhub, we have Steve Skillings with Steve Skillings Takeover of the Changing Stage here today. And we've been talking gear with this gentleman and his kind of a little bit of his life story and how he kind of got into this business. We left off at the gear you were playing, but I want to kind of jump back into where we were at before, where we were talking a little about your career history, and you've done a few different things. When did you first start moving towards the direction after school to technology companies? And did you target companies that were going to be in the sound, audio, music, MI space, or were you just looking for a gig?
When I got out of school, I got a degree in mechanical engineering, and so I ended up in the automotive industry. So I'm sort of a cars and guitars kind of guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I went to work there, and I ended up doing product design and development for automotive suppliers in Maine, where I'm originally from. And so I was visiting Toyota, General Motors, Mitsubishi, Honda, Ford, you name it, and really learned my manufacturing chops there and product development chops. That's a very, very competitive industry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
For the most part, it's if you don't do things right, people die. So you really have to make sure your engineering is solid and reliable and whatnot. So. I started in that space, but I've always been a nerd. So one of the first things I did when I got into that space was I was doing a bunch of programming of robots as part of my orientation. So I've always liked sort of that building of things. And my wife and I moved to Oregon for a while, and I worked in the computer-aided design space where we were doing custom programs for companies like Nike and Boeing and other suppliers there, where basically, for example, with Nike, we would take, they build a size 9 sneaker, and then they scale it up and down from that, right? Once the 9 is all approved, you make it bigger and smaller. And we wrote a bunch of programs that will allow the computer, this is back in the mid-90s, the computer would do all the heavy lifting overnight, and all of a sudden you'd come back in the morning and the size 22 for Shaquille O'Neal down to the size 2 for the Rugrats would be done. So it was really fun. And then I ended up leaving that to get back to the East Coast where family is, and ended up at Bose in their automotive group.
Okay.
And did that. And they tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, "Hey, we want you to go do this website thing." And I said, "I don't know anything about the web." And they said, "That's okay. Nobody does. You'll figure it out." So
that's what they told all
90s.
of us back in the in the time.
It's like nobody knows what the heck's going on here. Just go figure stuff out. And doing that job, I found out about this new group within Bose that was building a new type of loudspeaker for musicians. And my boss told me about it. He said, "Look, it's this little skinny speaker, and over distance, the sound doesn't fall off hardly at all." And I said, that's impossible. And, I should have known being at Bose that they have a pretty good grasp of physics. It's certainly better than I did. So I went and saw a demo of that speaker when it was still very hush-hush, and it just blew my mind. The fidelity was incredible. I'm listening to this band playing, and I've been in bands since I was, 16. And the clarity, the evenness throughout the room, it just blew my mind. So I had a team of about 85 people working for me in the .com group, and I quit that and joined this group of four other guys to build L1 speaker. And that's how I got, a full-time gig where I was taking what I loved to do when I wasn't working and tied it into doing work, that I love to do. So it was a beautiful kind of mesh. I just really got lucky, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like the web time also kind of helped prep you for all the future stuff, because obviously web is a big presence, and being the CEO and the CPO, you're going to be looking at how that applies to marketing and just simply demoing the product online. You have to do that nowadays. So that's very cool. And I agree with you. The L1s are beautiful pieces of gear. It's a target at some point for me to acquire, just because they're nice and compact. So.
Yeah, they're super light. And what's cool as a guitar player is that you get whatever tone you give the L1 is the one you're going to hear, and it's also the one the audience is getting. So it's sort of it's a 1-for-1 kind of system. And that's also why I'm doing 15-watt amps now. It's like I just let the L1 just do all the heavy lifting there.
Exactly. I think both Fender and Bose need to start paying all of us here for all the promotion we're doing right now.
Yeah. So, I have a winding story.
So you were there with Bose, and then I think you kind of right from that get-go, you started your own company. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I came up with the Jamhub. One day I was hanging out at a soccer game with another musician dad, and he was telling me his older son, who's a bass player, had joined the band, and that the band had been practicing at their house.
Yeah.
Now, I know where this guy lives, and he lives in like a condo complex where there are neighbors all around. And I kind of looked at him, kind of said, twisted my head and said, how is it that the kids are jamming at your place? And he said, all of the neighbors agree to leave for an hour and they get to play. And my first thought was, wow, those are some really cool neighbors. But then my mouth kicked in and said, only an hour a week to jam? That kind of sucks. And he said, they don't get to do it every week.
Oh, man.
And as I drove home from there, I got thinking, well, everyone in my band, we have a way to rehearse quietly. And it's, I had a pod with headphones. My keyboard player has a keyboard with a headphone out. My drummer had an E-kit with a headphone out. We all had this stuff with headphone out. And I thought, well, shoot, why don't these guys just, take a mixer and do headphone jamming? But I know enough about music to know that, if everyone has the same mix, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
So I got thinking about it, and I'm a gear guy, and I thought, well, this is pretty easy. What you need to do is make a device that gives everyone their own mix. Everyone plugs in their gear, they plug in their headphones, and there you go. And I searched and searched and searched on that Saturday to try and find that piece of gear, and realized, this thing doesn't exist. And so while I was searching for this thing, I was drawing out electrical schematics and designing it. And really, by Saturday night, I had the thing 90% to what you see now. It just really came together fast.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And,
crazy.
and the product was 2008 is when you launched it. Is that correct? 2007, 2008?
2009. Yeah, okay. I left Bose in 2008, and we launched it in the summer of 2009. So it came together quickly, and we put it out to the market at that time, and we had really great reviews. If you've done any checking on the product online, people absolutely love it. And it's really because they can hear really well. They can play where and when they want. Even if you can play really quiet if you're using all electronic gear, or if you're playing in, an environment where you've got acoustic drums and amplifiers and all that, and you really want to get control of the room, you can plug in your in-ears or, sound isolating headphones, and now you're taking all of that sonic chaos and getting control over it. It's been a really interesting thing to watch how musicians have taken that original idea of, quiet jamming and used this product to do lots of different things.
Yeah, definitely. We've got about a minute and a half left in this particular segment. What was that first product? What was the feature set for that first product?
The first Jamhub?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Jamhub bedroom that you see today. We haven't had to change it. Yeah, we haven't changed it very much at all. It's sort of came out that way, and everyone for that price point love it. And then we have other models at different price points depending on what features folks are looking for. So it really hasn't changed that much. It's sort of like the Stratocaster or Telecaster, right? It's just sort of it is what it is when it came out, and everyone said, "Yeah, that's what we want it to be and what we want it to do."
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to the URL. It's simply jamhub.com. So you guys got to go check that out there at jamhub.com. And like you said, we're going to kind of break down the different product models that are there. We got about 30 seconds left. What other ways can people find out about the product? Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah, all the usual suspects. The best way is youtube.com/jamhub, and the website that you referred to. On YouTube, we've got a lot of customer-created videos, and, of course, videos that we've done ourselves.
Very, very cool. And this has been the Changing Stage Radio Show, the second segment. We'll be going into our third segment very shortly here. We are powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. And I want to give a shout-out to Jim and all the folks over at SIR at SIR-USA.com. They've taken care of us so many times on some of our events that we put on for the radio station, as well as take care of all of our friends. So make sure you take advantage of, if you need rental gear, go to them, whether it be an amp, a drum, or a PA. They are there for you. We'll be right back in a few short minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. bizvidcommunications.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
We are back with the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet Talk Radio. And we are brought to you by Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. And you can get all your great gear there, and I'd suggest you go check them out. And we've been talking with Steve Skillings from Jamhub as well as BandLab, and we've been talking about all the cool things he's done throughout his career, kind of how he's gotten to be the CEO of this great company, and we just got started touching on the products, and I wanted to kind of go through. You've got, besides the bedroom, you've got a number of different ones. You've got the tour bus, the green room, a Tracker MT16, and you got a bunch of accessories for that. Let's kind of go through a little bit about some of these products and what makes them different, and maybe touch a little bit on how they are better in some ways, and well, in a lot of ways, over the competition, if there's actually really any competition.
Yeah, not really. Certainly not at these price points. Thank goodness for patents, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
It's actually it's pretty simple here, and if you look at a Jamhub, it looks sort of like it's half of a disc, and so what we did in the industrial design is we divided the disc up into wedges. So if you can imagine a pizza, if you're not looking at it, you can imagine a pizza, and what happens is each musician takes a slice. We call them wedges. So each musician takes a wedge. They plug in their instrument and microphone, and then they plug in their headphones. Now, each wedge acts like its own mixer. So I will create a mix for me. Let's say I'm in wedge 1, or the blue wedge, and you're in wedge 2, and Paul's in wedge 4. And we each dial in a mix that's perfect for us and play as loud as we want, as late as we want, without disturbing anyone. It's pretty easy to run. I can show it to a 13-year-old and say, hey, check this out. This is what it does. And they're off and running, and even experienced musicians pick up on it quickly. It comes in 3 flavors. So we have our entry-level product is what we call Jamhub Bedroom, and that has 15 channels of audio divided up into 5 wedges. The next one up from that is called Green Room, and that's 21 channels of audio over 7 wedges, and that one actually includes a remote. Now, what the remote is for is if we're a drummer or a keyboard player and we can't get up to the central hub in the middle of the song, or that would kind of suck. It'd ruin the groove. What they can do is bring their mixer over to them by plugging this remote into the back. So you can just sit at the kit and mix to your heart's content.
Oh, wow.
The Green Room also has USB recording. It also has phantom power, and it can also accept a total of 4 remotes. It comes with 1, but you can add up to a total of 4.
Yeah.
And then the next model above that is called Tour Bus, and Tour Bus is the same as Green Room in every way except for 2 things. The first is that's a built-in stereo recorder. So it's really great for you're jamming along, you've got an idea, and you say, oh, man, let's just grab that before we forget it. And you just hit record, it captures what you're doing, and then you can use it later.
Now, I want to interrupt you there. Which mix is it capturing? Is it just a general mix that's already there, or is it does any one of the wedges have control over that mix?
Yeah, it's the second. It's one of the wedges has a mix.
Okay.
It's the wedge that we call R for recording.
Okay.
And so there's also a little switch on there that lets a musician sort of hear what we're recording, then switch back to their individual mix that we call the 1-R switch.
Okay.
just to make it easy. I'm a lazy guy, so I want to just be able to switch back and forth without having to move. And really, those are the three core products that we have now. As far as doing mixing and playing and being able to control what you hear. Tracker is something we came out with a little over a year ago. And what that does is it allows musicians to simply plug in and capture all of that audio instead of in stereo in 16 channels of audio.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What Tracker does, if you have a Tracker and a Jamhub, you now have a recording studio with up to 11 monitor mixes, right? You have the 7 that are built in the hub plus 4 remotes. That gives you a potential total of 11 unique mixes. So it's great for being able to just do demo recordings, capture inspiration, just jam. And since everything writes to SD media, it's super cheap to be able to just keep going and capturing everything you're doing.
Wow. Speaking of that, what are the price points for all these fun gadgets? The bedroom model I just saw is on Pitbull for $299. Then Green Room is $499, and Tour Bus is $699. So we keep the price down by keeping everything really compact. And easy to use. And then the accessory to go 16 channels of recording.
So Tracker is $399, and that works with a Jamhub with one cable. But if you want to take it to your gig, so let's say you've got your rehearsals going and you like where you're recording there, and you have a gig where you're just using a conventional mixer, you can buy a breakout snake and you can take that 16-channel recorder to your gigs as well, just so that you have more utility. You got a nice little pocket recorder, so we made it so, hey, why not use it where and whenever you want.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of important that you mentioned in the gig, because I've seen that people are using this as a separate monitor mixing solution for in-ears or for wired ears on stage. How did that come about? Was that something that you guys did by design, or was it something that somebody just decided to, hey, let me try this out and see how this works?
The latter. It was our customers who said, hey, this is the best way to get into in-ear monitor mixing. If you go out there and try to build an in-ear monitor mixer with all of the other solutions that are out there, you're looking at, really 5, 10, sometimes 20 grand, depending on what level of gear you want to use. And for most bands, that's a serious investment that everyone has to pitch in on. And then what happens if you break up? All that kind of tough stuff. So
exactly.
Bands started using our stuff, saying, well, instead of wearing headphones, I'm going to get some in-ears.
Yeah.
And they started using those on stage, and it's really, for us, it seems like half of the people that are buying the product now are doing it so that they can play on stage. And the irony of in-ear monitors is they were originally developed for huge, wide stages, right, where you had to move around. But really, they really serve you best when you're on this tiny little stage and the drummer's right up your backside and the volume on the stage is crazy loud. You just plug in, you take a splitter, you put it before the Jamhub, you send half of the signal to the front of house, the other half to the Jamhub. Now the band is mixing on stage, and the front of house guy is dealing with what he needs to do. No wedges. You don't have all that extra sound blowing off the stage. It's just cleaner for everyone. And our little funky little mixer just makes that super affordable and easy to run. You don't need a 3-hour session with a professional to learn how to run it.
Yeah. Mr. Berezetsky, our producer here, has a question for you. He's a tech guy, so he loves this stuff.
Great.
You mentioned a remote for one of those. Can you hook up more than one? Can you buy these remotes separately? Like you said, on the small stage, someone can't necessarily have to hop over your bass player and your guitar player and your sax player to get to this thing. Can a couple of people have remotes?
Yes. Yep. Exactly. You can have up to 4 in the Green Room and Tour Bus. Bedroom accepts just 1, and that's because it's our entry level product. But yeah, and we have extensions too. So if you have the Jamhub down on the floor where most of the musicians are, but you need to extend the remote over to a keyboard player or drummer that's 20, 25 feet away. You just buy some extensions, plug the remotes in, and go. A lot of bands now will also get our tracker, and they'll bring that along, plug that into, they put this in a little rack box, which you can see if you go to our YouTube channel. You can see how one of our team members built one. And now they go to their gigs. Everyone's got in-ears except for one guy who uses a wedge, and he actually controlled his wedge from the Jamhub instead of the front-of-house guy. And they record their gig, and the cool thing about it is if you play this way, I can guarantee you a perfect mix every time you play. And you know why I know it'll be perfect? Because if you don't like the mix, all you have to do, walk over to the Jamhub, make a little tweak, and you're good to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Our eyes are flooding.
I started salivating when I just pictured cutting the front of house guy out of the picture.
Yeah. They love it too. 9 out of 10 of them go, "Are you serious? We're not going to have a ton of monitors to fight with, and I just have to worry about the front of house. I love you guys."
Yeah.
That does sound pretty dang amazing. So we're looking at our bank accounts right now here, Steve.
Hey, I know people. If you want a good deal, jamhub.com. I'll send you a coupon code.
Maybe those Pitbull Audio guys. I don't know. That might be a good place for us to go.
Yeah. Talk to them.
Yeah, definitely. And we are finishing up our third segment. We are definitely, like I said, salivating over this gear. We'll be right back for the fourth segment. We're going to talk a little bit about the industry and how it is to bring a product to market. This has been the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks, the worldwide leader in Internet talk radio. Thank you, pitbullaudio.com, because we can all go buy Jamhubs there. So we'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
You've heard me bragging about Progressive Medical Center and how they've helped me feel so much healthier. But one thing, Dr. Agoli, that a lot of people come to you with is just unexplained pain. They just can't get any relief. Why can Progressive Medical Center's Pain Management Center help them?
First of all, we have to acknowledge that pain is for real, and you've got acute pain and chronic pain. Here's the problem. That acute pain turns to chronic, which is long-standing, and no one's getting to the root cause. There's several key diagnostic components that help us get to the root of what's causing this pain. Is it inflammation? Once we do a thorough evaluation to get the root cause, determine if it's structural or if it's a metabolic issue. And this way, we put an individualized program for pain management involving correcting the spine, using certain injections when necessary, and we get our patients out of pain quicker, and they stay out of pain because we teach them how to live their life well.
Don't let yourself live in pain any longer. Get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today at progressivemedicalcenter.com.
Progressive Medical, this is your life, live it well.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way. A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at which.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICHWICH. Which.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
We are into the fourth segment of the Changing Stage radio show powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks. It's the worldwide leader in internet talk radio. And I want to give a big shout out again to our sponsors, SIR at SIR-USA.com and Pitbull Audio at PitbullAudio.com. And of course, our guest here at Jamhub.com. Check them out on Facebook as well as Twitter and even the YouTube channel. Just type in Jamhub and you'll find them there. We've been talking with Steve Skillings, the CEO of Jamhub. He's also the CPO of Band Labs. And, let's kind of give you a little shout out to Band Labs because there's a complimentary piece to that. You were able to have this great tool where you can collab in person, but you can share that collab over the internet. Is that not correct, sir?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The original idea with Band Labs was, I'm into musicians making music together, right? As we talked about before, I'm into being a band. For me, it's really fun to collaborate with others. And so when we were working on Jamhub, we had always envisioned sort of this ability to take those tracks and to put them in the cloud and to be able to edit them and collaborate where and when you want. And so Tracker was sort of the next step in that process that was capturing all of the audio. And then the last part of it was BandLab. And BandLab is a cloud-based system that you can run from your iPhone, your Android phone, Chrome browser, really any computer-like device that's out there. It's designed to let you capture any idea, whether you're walking down the street and you get an idea, or you're watching TV, or anywhere. You just grab what it is you want. Using whatever device is handy. It's a lot like Gmail in that you log in from anywhere. So even if I'm at your house, Florio, and I get this idea and none of my stuff's around, I can go, can I just borrow your phone for a second here, or jump on your computer? And you can do lyrics. You can do, obviously, audio. There's even more things coming to capture any inspiration. And then you share that with whomever you want. You can have a private group like a band. So my band, we have our private little things that we're working on songs, and then we publish those out to the web. Or I'm actually in some collaborations with people that I actually don't know where a couple of them live, but a guy who's in Long Island that I do stuff with. So there are people all over the globe that are contributing ideas, and then other people kind of taking them to full-on songs in different directions. And at that show that you're going to do with Mang, you guys can dive super deep into all of the cool things that are happening there.
Yeah, definitely. We've got some good stuff to talk about. We do a group called Balanced Breakfast Music Industry Meetup here in San Diego that is actually a national group. So we've actually talked about using BandLab kind of as a collaboration tool where the different members of this group around the multiple countries, because it goes to Canada as well, can maybe work on a global project together. So definitely very cool. Yeah. Now, you've got all these great products that have come out, and obviously you've had some experience with the internet. How is it to bring a product to market? That seems like it's a challenging, proposition nowadays. And you're doing, you're doing two different companies. So tell us about that.
Lloyd Baggs of LR Baggs is a friend, and I think he has the best advice for anyone, which is don't do it unless you absolutely have to. And it really is something that's it's really difficult. The retail landscape is changing at an incredible pace. Musicians there's such a variety of gear. For example, our gear has been out there for 5 years, and you guys are just now discovering what it is and what it can do. And that's really the landscape of today. So it's something that is very fun. It's very fun, and I think the best advice I can say is don't do it. And if my advice is good enough to save you, that's good. But hopefully you'll listen. You'll say, no, I got to do this. You'll actually go out and do it yourself. If one guy like me can turn you off, then you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And I think that goes for just being a musician as well. The landscape is really challenging, and you either have to love it, and it's got to be something that you can't not do. So you have to do it, and I think that's a big driving force. Same thing with radio shows. We find that's the case as well. It took us a while to break this one in, and we know that like for you guys, the NAM organization, who is a great partner of ours, is really doing a job to bring out the awareness of all these cool products and trying to keep a MI retail market afloat, because you're right, it's with the internet, you're starting to see all these cool mom and pop shops and all these stores kind of fall to the wayside, which is so sad. So
I think what's happening with retail, if you look at the industries from our perspective, retail's really sort of pushing to the left and to the right, if you can imagine it, where everyone's either moving into a boutique-y space where they've got high-end gear, it's high touch, and the salespeople are incredibly knowledgeable. To sort of a low-end school intro kind of thing. Our Jamhub product is used in schools all over the world to teach rock band type of things. So I've been to a room in England where they had set up a dozen Jamhub studios. So imagine walking in there and there's 60 kids playing rock music or country or popular styles of music, and they're all having a good time, and we can have a conversation. So that's happening more and more in your local music store, where they'll not only teach you how to play guitar, but they'll put you in a band, and they'll teach you how to be a musician, not a guitar player, but a musician.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think the collaboration tool is really important because so recently music has become the sole dominion of the producer, who knows how to tweak a few knobs and put a few loops together and understands the landscape of the sound, but doesn't necessarily understand the magic that comes from a group like the Beatles getting together when they're in high school and changes the world. I don't know if the music's in that changing the world kind of possibilities at this point, but maybe a group in England that's on Jamhub can do this. So that's our hope.
Well, the other thing we're seeing that our studios are allowing schools to teach 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th graders to use iPads as their instrument.
Wow.
So they'll take 4 iPads, plug into a Jamhub, the kids throw on headphones, and you can imagine you got 20 kids in a classroom. So you got 4 bands of 5 going. And they teach the kids how to make music in an ensemble. And kids start to figure out very early, I really like drums. I really like bass. Or some of them go, I like it all. Just put me in a band. I think we're going to see more and more of a generation of people that are less, I'm going to do everything myself because I can, and the technology has enabled that too. The technology has enabled me to do it, but this is what I like. This is what I'm good at. And if I get together with others, using, in-the-face type of tools where we're sitting across the table from each other or across a Jamhub, or we're using online collaboration, I think there's going to be a resurgence in let's do stuff together. Even in the EDM space, you're starting to see more musicians going, I can make beats, I can lay down these chords, but when somebody else brings their stuff into my stuff, we make something better.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess Lennon and McCartney would say that that's kind of how they did it too.
Yeah, I would say. And you know what? Hey, when you get that tuba adapter for Jamhub, that's when we know we've arrived.
Hey, just put a mic in front of it, brother. We take anything into a Jamhub and then let you control it.
Well, that is awesome.
If you do that, send me a photo, though.
We got to find a tuba player now. Well, as you know, they have one over in. We got to talk to the guys in the Roots. They use a tuba player in the band. So if you want, that'll work. Well, Steve, we're out of time, brother. It's been too short, but love to have you back on. We need to talk about what you guys are going to be doing at NAMM next time around. In fact, stay on the line. I'm gonna pick it up after this. This has been the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty WS Radio Networks. Thank you very much, Steve and Jamhub, pitbullaudio.com and sir-usa.com. You guys rock. We'll be right back. Actually, we got a second segment coming up on the Temecula Valley Music Awards. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration becomes so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, she still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.